a Pokemon judge has been banned for judging in the future because of harassment of players. And listen, when it comes to Pokemon fans, usually you think, yeah, they're being a bit weird, standard, run-of-the-mill, usual stuff. But usually they don't stoop to harassing, following people, and just generally being a massive creepy weirdo. That was, of course, until the Pokemon VGC Regional. So if you don't know a whole lot about Pokemon competitive, essentially there are a ton of really, really big tournaments called regionals where you go and you try and accumulate these points that will take you onto internationals and eventually, hopefully, worlds where you can then lose to Wolfie. And in Vancouver, last weekend, there was a regional. These are massive events. People will come from all over the world just to attend these events, either to hang out, either to compete, to try and get more points, to meet their friends. It's a nice gathering ground of Pokemon fans. And it means they need a lot of judges. They need a lot of people that can come and make sure everything's running as it should be, including one judge from Texas, which, come on, Texas, what's going on? That I won't be naming because I obviously don't want them to get any more harassment or anything like that. They've already been punished. But the reason that they need to be punished was so strange, it boggled my mind. So to set the scene, there is a TCG group of players called Girl Power, and they attended this Vancouver regional. And this Texas judge of ours walked up to them and asked for a selfie. Now, this group, Girl Power, has a number of transgender competitors, members, and this judge asked that they could step to the side so he could ask them some questions about the transgender community, which I assume was generally considered to be, oh, okay, yeah, you want to learn more? That's absolutely fine. You know, we can help you out in whatever way, because obviously there is a lot of misinformation out there that spreads about trans people. There is a lot of hate and lies spread about them. I would say maybe especially in the American South, where it generally trends to be more conservative. So someone from that area says, hi, can I ask you some questions? That's a good thing. That means they want to learn more. It means that they aren't down the rabbit hole of being a massive creepy hater. In theory, because they say next, it quickly devolved. The judge told the trans women in the group he could tell they were born a boy, quotes, because you have a boyish build or a manly face, which is a completely insane thing to just come out with unprompted. If you're there to learn, then you shouldn't just be inserting your own opinion. Just because you have an opinion, just because you have a thought, it doesn't mean that other people need to hear it. Not every thought and opinion that anyone has is valuable. And you don't need to say the first thing that comes to your head, because it's completely ridiculous to come out of nowhere and be like, no, see, I'm super smart. I can tell. Yeah, I got a high IQ. Yeah, no, I got a high IQ. I can tell. No, just ask me any questions. Ask me any questions. No, I could answer all of them. I can only imagine the group was then just looking at this guy around in the group. Like that one meme where you walk into the party, except everyone turns around and looks at you like, what are you doing? Everyone just stand there like, okay, all right, okay. And what? But it doesn't get any better from there. He doesn't listen to their views. He talks over them, interrupting, just spouting whatever came to his mind, I suppose, thinking like, oh yeah, I'm nailing this one. This is going great, dude. I'm really building a rapport here. And you think that'd be the end. They excuse themselves from the situation. They part ways. And that was the end of the stuff. That wasn't the end of the stuff. It's not the end. That's not the end yet. No. After they parted ways, the Texas judge decided, actually, no, I need to get to learn more. Even more. I can't believe this is real, but the judge followed the players to a private dinner outside the event despite not being invited and continued to antagonize them afterwards. Brother, what are you doing? Why? What? How did that come into your mind? You're like, you know what? I didn't get invited, but like we're buds now. We're friends because I told them that they have a manly face. So I'm gonna go hang out with them. I'm just gonna tag along, guys. I'm just gonna follow you to your dinner. We're all friends now, right? So what started as someone that wanted to learn more about a marginalized group of people has now devolved into, oh, I'm just gonna harass them and follow them around. Like, what are you doing? You obsessed with trans people? Why are you following them around? They left. They don't want to interact with you anymore. And then what he says next is even more insane. According to one of the players, he said that he needed the players to give him good feedback in order to move up in the ladder. And I can only assume that good feedback where he's from in Texas means being as hateful towards trans people as he possibly can. It's like the more hateful you are towards trans people, the more points you get. Like, sorry, buddy. The Pokemon Company is not the same as whatever weirdo group you're in your hometown. And then he continued to go around one by one to all of us, pointing out why we don't pass a woman. Why would you do? Why? What is this? It just screams obsession, man. Why? This guy thinks about trans people more than trans people think about trans people. He's going around one by one, listing out the notes. Like, did he bust out his notepad? Did he do, like, artist interpretations? Did he get out, like, a permanent marker and start drawing on their faces? Like, what's going on? After following them to a private dinner, were they gonna turn around and be like, wow, Mr. Texan Judge, you're really good at pointing these things out. I'm gonna go and tell everyone how good you are at that. And then you'll get a promotion. Now, apparently, this judge had some problems in the past. There were some issues. There were some complaints made about this guy, which is no surprise. Generally, if you're the kind of person that will follow other people to a private dinner and harass them, maybe you didn't do this just one time. Maybe it was a couple of times. But at least we have some good news to end it. He was quickly stripped of all of his titles and received a lifetime ban from ever being a judge at one of these events again. So that's good. At least the Pokemon Company has their head on their shoulders screwed on correctly, because I think we can all agree that that kind of behavior is really weird. It's really weird. It's really weird. Also, to pile on the good news, I took a look at the comments in the Reddit thread about this, and also the tweet replies, which, you know, Reddit and Twitter are usually a cesspit of negativity and hate. They're all good. It seems like the community generally rallied around these players. We're being good. We're being inclusive, and we all realize this is a completely weird thing and it's pretty unacceptable. So at the very least, there is a happy ending to this. But still, like, I just followed them to a private dinner. What's going on with that? Anyway, I wish the best for the team. Hope they go win stuff now. It is genuinely good to see that the Pokemon Company has a good kind of response to this. They're not beating around the bush. They have a no-holds-barred policy of just slapping people up if they decide to be bigoted or they harass the players. That's good, right? You'd think of a massive corporation like that, they'd be a little bit slow moving on things like this, but generally they've done a pretty good job here, I think we can all agree. So big thumbs up to the Pokemon Company. Of course, they didn't say anything because they never directly address this kind of stuff, so they kind of sweep it under the rug, make it so it didn't exist, which is whatever. As long as actual action is taken to remove the person and make sure that they don't come back, then that's the main thing. That's what matters the most. What matters the most is having an environment where people can play the games and enjoy it no matter who they are, no matter where they come from, and just generally be able to be accepted and welcomed into a community that is based around being good and happy and fun to your friends. Seriously, how do you play Pokemon as an absolute creep or a weirdo like that when the whole series, the point of it is to be accepting and love each other no matter who they are, where they come from? The entire morals of the franchise. I mean, listen, it's made for kids, which means that it's always trending towards acceptance and love and happiness. How can you, as a player of this series, come into it and be like, ooh, I love this, if you are the kind of person to harass people because of who they are or where they come from or anything like that? I don't understand how you enjoy this. What do you like about it? Did just the animal have cool design? Have you played any of the games? Can you read? The stories are all about being a good person, being friends with your little animated creatures. I don't recall Lance ever coming out of nowhere and being like, yes, it's my trust with my Pokemon that enables me to become strong, and also my rampant transphobia. No, that doesn't happen at any points. I can only assume that these people have never seen the anime or played the games or read a piece of dialogue or can read, actually. That might be an issue there. And it is a little bit sad because it started off as a story that would kind of be like, oh, there's a person that wants to learn more about marginalized groups. That's a good thing. We want more of that. If you sit down and you learn about it, rather than watching Fox News Tucker Carlson talking about how the woke liberals are making your kids pee themselves constantly, then maybe we'd have an even better community. But hey, overall, weird story. That's everything.